So I've already posted the third period video. This is the fourth period video. Also, Mrs. Murray has posted answers to all of the review questions as well. So I would say watch mine because you're used to me, but on the other hand, if you think, wow, Mr. Wolf really botched that one, he didn't know what he was doing, then maybe go watch Miss Murray and maybe she does a better job of explaining something. Or watch them both and figure out which method you like, although I would imagine they're pretty close to the same. So, also, my third period video messed up, so I didn't get through all of them. Got through most of them, didn't get through all of them. Alright, so fourth period, we'll start with 2, 5, 8, and we'll just see how things go. Again, some of these I feel like are easy, some of these are definitely hard. And so stop and discuss. It's not like, I'm recording and I'm racing through. Like, no, just ask me questions as they come up, and we'll pause when we need to. Number 2, the exponential function g is given by g of x equals 5 to the x. Which of the following expressions defines g, I don't want to say to the negative 1, because that's not what that means. What does that mean? Inverse. The inverse of g. So the inverse means switch the x's and the y's. And then, of course, this doesn't look like those, but if I fishhook that, log base 5 of x equals y. Yeah, because 5 to the y equals x. So, definitely not the power stuff. A and B are really close, but I need the base to be 5 and the argument to be x. So A. Number 4 is not for us to do, it's already done, but it's again with the inverse and excuse me, switching the x's and y's. Number 5. The graph of the exponential function is given on the right. Which of the following could be a table of values for the inverse? We do this a lot on this review, and quite frankly, it happens quite a few times on the test. Read carefully, because this is maybe misleading. It's like, oh, here's the graph of f, find a table of values, but I want a table of values for the inverse. So the x and y needs to be switched. So it looks like 2, 4 is on this graph, but that means the inverse would be 4, 2. And exponents means, so 2 squared is 4. 2 to the 5th is 32. 5 squared is 25. So is it B or is it D? Exponent would be 2 to the x. So I want 2 to a power, not 5 to the 2. So I need answer choice D. Again, be super careful. Read the questions. Inverse, not original. Number 8. Let k, w, and z be positive constants. Which of the following is equivalent to? Okay, so this is just like a log property question. Anything in the top should be positive because they're being multiplied. So k and z should be positive. Okay, that kind of works with A, or wait a minute, you can't do that. A's out. That's not how you do that. C looks good, B looks good. I need to minus because w squared is in the bottom, so I like the minus on both of those. And then that 2 would come out front, so it should be minus 2 log base 10 of w. That 1/2, that would be log base 10 of the square root of w. Yes, sir?
So basically the denominator is negative.
Anything in the denominator would be negative because you're dividing by those things. Anything in the numerator would be positive because those are being multiplied. Number 11. To solve the equation, one method is to apply the properties of logarithms to rewrite the equation in equivalent form. Okay. This equivalent equation can be used to identify possible solutions of the following, which is such an equation. Okay, so it's trying to give me the roadmap here. Combine that into one, and then write an equivalent equation. Well, combining it into one would be multiplying. So this is very similar to number 8, using properties of logs. X minus 3x plus 4 equals 1. And so I see 8 on the other side. Like, I'm definitely thinking a fishhook has been done here. 8 to the first equals all of that. So if I FOIL it out, x squared plus x minus 12 equals 8. Kind of an interesting question. It's like ask the question so that your answer is like halfway through actually working the problem. Number 14. Another properties question. If m equals log base 3 of 81, which of the following is true? Well, this looks like a fishhook thing here. 3 to the m equals 81. If I fishhook that, so that's B. Again, I didn't really have to do anything other than fishhook. So you got to know the properties, but I didn't have to solve anything. Number 17. The function h is given by this. Which of the following is equivalent to the expression 2h of w plus h of p, where w and p are in the domain? Okay, so h is log base 3 of the function. So of the input. So 2 log base 3 of w plus log base 3 of p. Is that expression, because h is log base 3 of the input. And then properties of logs. This 2 can go up on the w, but only on the w. So w squared p. Answer choice C. Properties of log question. Number 20. Another properties of log questions. The function g is given by this thing. A, b, and c are positive integers. Which of the following is an equivalent representation of g of x? Well, I know I can put the a up as the exponent. So that would be log base b of c to the a. It'd be nice if that was one of my answer choices. And it is. Oh, what's about a versus b? Those look really similar. So which one is it? It's A. Yeah. Right. Like you can't have an exponent and a coefficient like just be the same thing. It's properties of logs, so that A goes onto the C only. So yes, it's A. (23) The function f is given by that. If the function g is the inverse, switch x and y. That's what inverse means. Which of the following could define g? So x equals 4 times 2 to the y minus 3. So solve for y. Yes, I should divide by 4. That's like big picture. I'm solving for y. First step is divide by 4. Don't do 4 times 2 equals 8. I bet that might be where that 8 comes from.
Attention teachers, that was the ADA bell. Please take your ADA attendance at this time. Have a great day.
What do you want to do next? Log? What base would you like to use? Oh, goodness, it looks like 2's would be a good choice. So log base 2 of x over 4 equals log base 2 of 2 to the y minus 3. Some of you wouldn't show that step because you would know right away that the whole point of that is to get the y minus 3 down front. And log base 2 of 2 is 1. So log base 2 of x over 4 plus 3 would be my answer. Number 26. The log function f is defined by f of x equals log base 3 of x from 0 to 9. Which of the following is true of f? Has a min, has a max. I don't know. Let's draw a picture. So the log function looks like this. That point is 1, 0 on all of them because the log of 1 is 0. Now this one, if it goes to 9, 1, 2, 3, let's see, log base 3 of 3 is 1, and log base 3 of 9, 3 squared is 9. So my picture's a little rough here, but you get the idea. So there's my picture from 0 to 9, and it stops at 9. So it does have a maximum. It stops there. It does have a max. It has a maximum, yes. There's not a hole anywhere. Does this thing have a minimum? No, because it just goes forever. So no minimum. So the answer choice is B.
How does it have no minimum?
Because its minimum, what would you say its minimum is? Maybe I'd ask it that way. If it has a minimum, what is its minimum?
Go on forever.
Yeah, and so it doesn't have a minimum. Because its minimum is like negative infinity, but that's not an answer to what's the minimum. It just goes forever. Yeah, so we're stopped at 9. And you notice that it didn't include 0 because you can't take the log of 0. So if we're really paying attention, it's like there's a kind of a hint going on right there.
Well,